Hey, there we go.
God.
It's live. You know what? My hair looks good at this length. I like this.
It does look good.
Too bad I have to dye it blue. Yeah, I know.
Is it blue tips?
It's blue tips.
When's the appointment?
It's I haven't set it up yet. But I have until the end of the month to enjoy my normal brown hair.
Got you.
But when April comes around, I've got to dye it blue.
So when I come back from Kentucky,
my hair will be blue.
That's awesome.
I hate it. I'm not happy about it. But it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're just going to drink the pain away. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? So as you can see, this has a new title. We're calling it The Lore Lounge because calling it 3 True Stories of the Paranormal was kind of a lot. I don't always have 3 true stories. And I didn't want to lie to you and make them up. I could. I could sit here.
So you're implying that all of the stories before were in fact true?
I mean, I was told they were.
All right.
But I could. There's one of our story times.
Yes.
Is a story about the Batiste Stacks at Penn State. And it's recorded and everything, but I did not write anything down. I sat down. I was like, I wonder what would happen if I sat down and I took a common ghost story. Mm-hmm. This is a true crime one, but what if I took a common story and turned it into a ghost story? And I sat here for an hour at that computer, and I just made shit up and put it into a story format. It's there's something supernatural in the Batiste Stacks. It's on the channel. But yeah, so I did that. That's basically. But no, so I could probably get through that. I think I would do pretty okay. Also, Thorn Bussy looking a little different today.
What's up?
Oh my god.
Are we coordinated with the colors?
You and me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm colorblind.
Oh, that's true.
I think you have more colors than me too.
I do have more
I've
colors,
got, like,
but the
blue
color
and black and grays.
I also have blues, blacks, and grays.
There's no green in this, is there?
There is not. How would you know?
That's what I'm asking. That's why I asked you. Is there green? Oh my god. What about the ant people?
What about the ant people?
Well, now I gotta look up ant people. But yeah, my point was, the reason we renamed it to the Lore Lounge is because we're just I'm gonna try and make it more of a just talk show, where we'll start with a scary story and then see. Here's the thing. What we're gonna do now we're planning for the ADHD. We're planning for me to lose focus.
We're working it in.
Yes.
It's a feature.
So what we're gonna do?
It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Exactly. You get it. You also sound like you work for Bethesda. But the idea now behind this show, as we're running it, is that we're going to start off with a spooky story. We're going to talk about it. And then as it naturally evolves into something completely unrelated that makes sense to me, but apparently most other people don't get it, that way it's not losing focus. That way we're not constantly interrupting the story to talk about stuff. We're just going on a nice little path, and we see where we end up an hour in.
Love that.
Sound good?
Sounds
Does
great.
that make more sense than what we've been doing before?
I think that's pretty much what we were doing before, but we were just fighting it.
See, now we're not going to fight it.
We're not going to fight it. We're going to go with the flow.
We're just going to let the lack of ability to stay focused take us where it needs to take us. And I think that's beautiful, but now I've got to look up ant people before we get started.
Understandable.
You guys can't throw stuff like this at me. Ant people of the Hopi. All right.
Ooh.
So, we'll start off with this. That could be a fun way to do the show. People just suggest stuff and then we talk about it. All right, so the ant people of the Hopi, Native American tribe of Arizona and the surrounding region. Let's see. This barren but beautiful landscape was the place where Hopi gods directed them to build a number of villages made up of pueblos, what we today would call stone apartment complexes. I don't know that I would agree with that. Here, the Hopi managed to flourish by simply growing corn, beans, and squash with very little rainfall and almost no irrigation.
3 sisters.
Mm-hmm. One of the most intriguing Hopi legends involves the ant people, who were crucial to the survival of the Hopi not just once, but twice. Kind of like how they made Bug's Life and then also ants.
Was there a Bug's Life too?
There may have been.
I think there was.
I believe it. Disney made a lot of straight-to-DVD sequels too. But let's see. The so-called First World, or World Age, was apparently destroyed by fire, possibly some sort of volcanism, asteroid strike, or coronal mass ejection from the sun. The Second World was destroyed by ice Age glaciers, or a pole shift. During these two global cataclysms, the virtuous members of the Hopi tribe were guided by an odd-shaped cloud during the day and a moving star at night that led them to the sky god named Sotuknang, who eventually took them to the Ant People in Hopi Anu Sinom. The Ant People then escorted the Hopi into subterranean caves where they found refuge and sustenance. This is actually really similar to a Zoroastrian myth. According to the Zoroastrian, it's not quite eschatology, but basically their version of Noah's Ark is that the ancient people of the region were led into underground caverns to survive a great cataclysm, which chronologically in the ages of the world, as various mythologies have them, fits right in line with Noah's Ark, the flood from Gilgamesh. A lot of Native Americans have flood stories as well. And what's a misconception about Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite ones, is that people think it's a prophecy. It's a cycle. Norse and Celtic and Germanic mythology are full of cycles where the prophecy has happened before. So if you read the story of Ragnarok in the various Norse Eddas and sagas, what you get is a prophecy, but it's told in the past tense many times.
Gotcha.
So it's like,
this
this
happened
is going,
and it will happen.
Exactly. So the story they're telling is not necessarily that Ragnarok, as it's discussed in, I think it's Heimskringla, maybe? Can't remember off the top of my head. But the Norse version of Ragnarok that's told, they say this is going to happen, and Loki will fell. I'm like mixing up my gods right now. But Loki will use the mistletoe to trick people into killing Balder, and that's how the whole cycle starts. And then at the end of the story of Ragnarok, you want to know what's left? There's a couple of gods that survive, and then there are two beings that survive that are not named as Jotnar, they're not named as gods, they're not Aesir, elves, they're none of that. It's just two names.
Just like two dudes. That
were hidden within the tree, within Yggdrasil. And one of the schools of thought on this is that those are humans, a man and a woman. I can't remember their names at the moment. But what's fascinating about that is that at the end of all of it, you end up with two people who are tasked with repopulating the world. You can transition that into just about any mythology and get very similar stories. That could be looked at as Adam and Eve. That could be looked at as Noah and his family. There's just it's those confluences of where mythology intersects in ways it really shouldn't. Like why would the Norse have a flood that wipes out everything and then the world has to start over again from two people? And then you also have the exact same thing in Jewish religion. Those two things aren't connected.
Right.
Like, the point at which people split off to head south into the Levant and form some of these cultures in places like Turkey and Greece, those people started up there. They did not interact with the Semitic peoples until they got there. So the Yamnaya, who are the people who become the Celts and the Germans and the Norse, those people move west and south from what would be modern day, Caucasia. So the Urals and basically that Eastern European version, territory of Russia.
Gotcha.
They head south, the steppes. They head south, past the Caspian, and they head west into Europe. And those ones who head west become the Germanic, Celtic, Greco-Roman, all of those different groups. The ones who head south become some of the like the Hittites and those groups who are sort of in the, I think they do, I'm not positive. I don't think the Yamnaya become the Egyptians. I think to my understanding, the Egyptian culture and the Sumerian culture were already there at the time the Yamnaya migration happened, but I could be wrong about that. Okay. I am not an anthropologist. But that is why Indian languages like Hindi are related way back, are related to like Welsh.
Interesting.
That Indo-European language family comes out of that Yamnaya migration about I think it's like 3000 BC, but I could be wrong again. I don't have all of this off the top of my head. That is much more territory for like Mini Minuteman or like Bahari or other creators
Fair.
like I love them. But yeah, so that story gets told by people who didn't interact.
Right.
And that I think is fascinating. Now, what you do get, interestingly enough, is the Zoroastrians, who were Indo-Iranian. Mm-hmm. So that was an Indo-Iranian religion. They spoke a language similar, way back again, to what will become Germanic. Mm-hmm. So Germanic and Old Iranian have the same root. So the fact that they have the same stories, I also find very interesting. But yeah, to get back to the ant people issue.
Right, well, it sounds like it's another story of there's a mass cataclysmic event and people are kept safe and have to restart.
And that's why I look back at this stuff and I'm like, there's no way there wasn't a mass cataclysmic event.
Well, I mean, we know that there was.
Yeah.
We know that, the Earth did change, and that was probably tough on a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think it's like, you look at stuff like Göbekli Tepe and all that, and just the extent to which, like, what?
Nothing.
What?
Göbekli
Tepe? I've told you about Göbekli Tepe.
You have, but I can never pronounce it right. I'm like, go back and steppy.
Go back and steppy. All right, so to get back to the ant people after that tangent that wasn't supposed to happen, the whole we were like we're gonna focus, and then I immediately lost myself.
No, you just hyper focused on something else.
That's true. So, in this legend, the ant people are portrayed as generous and industrious, giving the Hopi food when supplies ran short, and teaching them the merits of food storage. In fact, another legend says that the reason why the ants have such thin waists today is because they once deprived themselves of provision in order to feed the Hopi. Interesting. The constellation Orion also has a thin waist. When Orion dominates the winter skies, the ants are deep in their small underground hills. These structures are similar in form to the Hopi kivas, which are subterranean communal prayer chambers. Coincidentally, the Sanskrit word ki means anthill and va means dwelling. That is so interesting. So the Hopi word is kiva, which is a word for a subterranean communal prayer chamber. And Sanskrit, the word ki means anthill and va means dwelling. That's fascinating. Like, I know it's possible if those two things are developed completely separately, that's convergent evolution of language rather than divergent, but like, how would that happen? Sanskrit.
What? I mean, that is really, really specific.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's the same word. That is the same word.
It's the same exact word.
This was such a good suggestion. I'm like fascinated by this. We're definitely gonna do a video on this. Like we're doing a Friday video on this now.
The ant hole.
Yeah.
Like the rabbit hole, but it's for ants.
Oh my god. All right. So each February, inside their kivas, the Hopi perform the bean sprouting ceremony or bean dance.
Bean dance.
Not gonna laugh about bean dance. Called Pawamu. During this time, the fires are continuously kept ablaze, turning these structures into superb hothouses. The ritual commemorates a time when the Anu Sinom taught the Hopi how to sprout beans inside caverns in order to survive. It is interesting to note that the Babylonian sky god was named Anu. The Hopi word for ant is also Anu, and the Hopi root word Naki means friends. Thus, the Hopi Anunnaki, or ant friends, may have been the same as the Sumerian Anunnaki, the beings who once came to Earth from the heavens.
Oh, so now this is Ancient Aliens territory.
Yes. We're going to keep reading the article, but I do need to make it clear that this is very clearly a blog that's an ancient alien theorist kind of deal.
Gotcha.
And I am not saying that the ancient alien theorist people are wrong.
No, but there's a bias here.
I'm just saying that we do need to be aware.
We're treading into
we need to understand
we might want to find a couple different sources.
Yeah, like that's why I said we're going to do a video on it, because I'll go and like actually like reach out to a Hopi like folklorist and get their information instead of just going with what the ancient alien theorists say. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. The ant people may have also lived in ancient Egypt. Akhenaten, the 18th dynasty pharaoh who ruled from 1351 to 1334 BC, is shown in some depictions with an elongated skull the shape of an ant's head. His almond-shaped eyes and neck are also like the ant's, and either the serpent or the vulture on his uraeus resembles...
What now?
I'm going to have to look up what that word means. This is... Yeah, resembles the ant's mandibles. So what does uraeus mean? Let's find out. I don't think it's anything dirty.
No. Well, if it's the ant's mandibles, that would be like here.
Uraeus, a representation of a sacred serpent as an emblem of supreme power worn on the headdress of ancient Egyptian deities and sovereigns.
Oh,
so it's that thing that's on King Tut's head.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to look.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's see. He also has spindly arms and legs like those of the ant, and his upper body resembles the ant's thorax, while his lower body mirrors the ant's abdomen. Akhenaten's body can be specifically compared to the pharaoh ant, Momorium pharaonis, which originated in West Africa. It also has an elongated head, a yellow to reddish-brown body, and a darker abdomen with a stinger. Perhaps it is more than a coincidence that the ancient Egyptian word Sahu means stars of Orion, whereas the Hopi word Sohu means star. You know what? I gotta give him credit. This is a lot of...
I mean, like, it could be. It could be.
Yeah. The most important of which are those in the constellation Orion. To read more on the ant people and the Hopi connection to ancient Egypt, see my most recent book, Star Shrines and Earthworks of the Desert Southwest by Gary A. David. So I do need to take this opportunity to point something out that was pointed out by Dr. Michael Heiser. So when Zecharia Sitchin came out with his whole thing about the Anunnaki and how Sumerian texts tell of a race that came from the planet Nibiru, which is the 12th planet in the solar system, and they came here and created humans to mine for gold. What Sitchin did, he was not a trained Sumerian anthropologist by any stretch.
Yeah.
He taught himself to read ancient Sumerian, which you can do. You can teach yourself to do that. But
do they have that on Duolingo? Like,
probably not. It would not be easy to teach yourself, but you definitely can do it. And so he came out with a couple of books asserting that the ancient Sumerians knew something we didn't, and that there's these Anunnaki figures and everything, and Anunnaki means those who came from above. It basically goes on this whole thing, and what he did in order to construct this, what he did was he took these ancient Sumerian words and broke them down into their component parts, which you can do with Latin, and you can do with German and Greek. The thing with Sumerian is they wrote dictionaries.
Oh, okay.
So there are times when you can break a word down into its component parts. But when that word has those components, it doesn't necessarily mean it's made up of those components, linguistically. So... Can
you, is there an example?
I'm trying to think of a good one, but off the top of my head, I really can't. But the term Anunnaki, for example, let's see, Anunnaki definition. If I remember correctly, it means the descendants of Anu, or the people of Anu. But so the name Anunnaki is derived from An, the Sumerian god of the sky. The name is variously written as Anuna, Anunnakene, and Anuna meaning princely offspring or offspring of An. So Anunnaki means the offspring of An, or the children of the gods, essentially, the children of God. So if you break it up into its component parts, it turns into those who came from above. But the word itself means the children of An.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because again, we have Sumerian dictionaries. So that's one of the issues with all this ancient alien stuff, is they have a tendency to follow what Sitchin said and not look at Michael Heiser's very, very thorough debunking of Sitchin. He has an entire website called sitchiniswrong.com. It's really funny. Go read it. But I do find that interesting because one of the things that I've said pretty consistently about, ancient religions and stuff is people very often will go from the angle that Judaism is an offshoot. What?
Nothing.
People say that Judaism is an offshoot of Canaanite mythology, Canaanite religion. I look at it the other way around. Not necessarily that Judaism came first, because we don't know which of these developed first. Like we really don't, because all of them developed before written language.
Right. So
it's hard to say who had the idea first, so to speak, but it makes sense that they have similar ones because they're all in very close proximity to one another.
Yeah.
But that's when I go and I'd like to factor in Norse and Celtic mythology as well as Native American, because then when those match Judaism, then it's a lot harder to say Judaism is an offshoot of Canaanite mythology.
Right.
But in Judeo-Christian, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically the study of Judeo-Christian theology, that was the word. You've got God, then you've got all of the angels, and then you've got the demons that are related to angels, and there's 9 different types of angels. It all gets very, very specific as you go into it, but the point here is the sons of God in Genesis are the angels. You've got the sons of... And one of the very particular points in this is that you've got a verse in Genesis chapter 6 that says, the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men and made of them wives. So there's a very specific... This is not... The sons of God are not men. Right. That's angels. They come in and they have children with the human being women, and that creates the Nephilim, and as a result of the creation of the Nephilim, you get the flood.
Right.
They don't teach you that in Sunday school, by the way. They're like, and God flooded the world because people were bad. That is not what the Bible says.
No, it's because they're getting nasty with angels.
It's literally. And Enoch gets even more into it. Enoch is an intense book, and I do need to do a narration of it. I need to read through it for everybody. I promised I would do that. But I just think it's very fascinating that you get, like, Anunnaki, the gods of Sumerian mythology,
right,
literally means the sons of An.
Yeah.
And the children of An, and then with Judaism you get the sons of God. Mm-hmm. Like it travels really well across the whole world. That you've got the idea of like
angels.
You've got a supreme deity and then lesser deities, whether you call them angels or gods or whatever.
So do you think that like in the context of the ant people, then the ant people were angels?
Certainly what it sounds like to me.
Or that's at least what they're describing as in equivalency.
Exactly. Is that these are, because it goes in, it talks about it. Here, let me pull it back up and go to the beginning of this. Yes, the ant people, Anu Sanom. So the ant people are the ant friends, basically.
Friends.
I mean, what I'm seeing here is like very similar to a lot of the other stories, especially the Zoroastrian one, because the Zoroastrian one is like they do get led by a different race of people into the underground caverns where they survive the cataclysm. Mm-hmm. Also, we have a very weird, unexplained set of underground cities in Turkey.
Really?
Yeah, in Cappadocia. There are these massive underground cities that we have no idea why they were built. Mm-hmm. There's cities on top of them, like above ground.
Yeah.
But these could have housed thousands of people.
Are they significantly older than the cities on top of them?
That's the thing, is like it seems like they're either as old as or older than. But
gotcha.
The suggestion is that these were built as a way to... the common archaeological suggestion is like these were built in times of like war, so you could go hide underground. The thing is...
That makes sense to me, yeah.
But it doesn't make sense, because you could go down, into your underground thing, but you can't get out.
Oh.
So if you go in, and the reason you're going in is to avoid the siege, you can't get out. All they have to do is wait for you. Like...
Well, that's what siege is anyway. It's just surround and wait.
Yeah, but like there's... what are you going to do? You can only stay down there so long.
The Hopi, apparently, they were growing beans in the subterranean cavern, which is...
Curious.
Weird. Beans don't need that much light.
No.
But all plants do need light.
Exactly.
Except, I guess, mushrooms aren't plants. But...
What even are mushrooms?
They're a fungus.
I know that they're a fungus, but, like, what is fungus?
A fungus is a fungus.
Exactly, like...
No. I had the same...
Why do we pretend that science is real?
Taxonomically, they're not plants.
Exactly, they're not animals.
They're not animals. Taxonomically, they are a fungus.
How do they exist? How do they reproduce?
Well, they do the mushroom thing with the spores, and they go like, oh, and they just like spore everywhere. You know? You ever hit like a puff mushroom?
Yes. But they're not...
That's how they reproduce.
Are they alive?
Well, yes. Kind of. Decay exists as an extant form of life and all.
I don't get it. I don't understand. The whole thing confuses me.
I mean, I think it would have to depend on how you define life.
Also, like, are viruses alive? Like, I remember this argument.
Question.
I remember this argument
fun.
from biology.
Yeah.
Like, what defines life? Because they're like, oh, well, something that's alive is something that metabolizes and reproduces, were two of the things that I remember from it.
I have to imagine that mushrooms do metabolize.
Yeah.
They turn dead stuff into more mushroom, right? That's how they work. Yeah. That's how they grow.
All right, so growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death.
So I guess viruses don't change. They just do their thing.
But they do have all the other ones.
They do reproduce.
They do grow.
I don't think... Do they grow?
Well, they have to. Because you can't just replicate.
Well, that's exactly... No, that is what they do. They replicate.
But in order to replicate, something must grow.
Well, they attach themselves to the thing and the cells make more viruses.
Exactly,
instead.
but the viruses have to grow, right? You can't just take something and clone it without a growth process.
I'm gonna be real with you. This is where I
thought you were supposed to be a science person.
Well, I'm not a biology person. Dear God, man.
All right, are chemicals alive?
Chemicals are not alive. Chemicals are not alive.
I don't believe you.
Well, they don't. They just exist.
Oh, God. Well, we're going to do a hard segue into what we were supposed to start the show with, which was this story from April that was submitted.
I think you should be clear that it's a story from a woman named April and not a story from the month of April. Because, that would be a really long time ago. That would be almost a full year.
I was not doing any of this last April, which
That's
is
so
terrifying.
Funny. That's hilarious.
There will be people who are like, you know, they'll say like, oh, I've been following you for years. I'm like, no, you haven't. But it feels like that. Like, the time before the Lore Lodge is a weird, like, pre-existence for me.
I mean, it's very pre-existent for me, because
Yeah, true. You didn't know me until I was the man I am today. You didn't even know me before facial hair. Well, you did meet me when I was blonde, so...
I did meet you with the frosted tips.
I think the entire circumstance of our friendship would be different if I was not blonde.
It totally would have been, yeah. It totally would. We wouldn't have been friends. We never would have been friends.
Oh, look, History Daddy's here. Hey, buddy. It's good that you're here, because you're going to be here again tomorrow. I thought I'd tell everybody. We're going to talk about Alexander the Great tomorrow with History Daddy, who is very much a simp for the King of Kings. All right, so to jump into this story. My name is April. Okay. My name is April, and this incident turned my whole world upside down. I'm not going to do it in that voice the
I know
whole
you
time.
can't do it in the voice,
really
but it sounds so jarring when it's like you're like baritone. You're like, my name is April.
My name is April. And this incident turned my whole world upside down.
No, should I read it?
You can if you want to.
Oh.
You want to? I am happy to eat my whatever this is.
All right.
I haven't eaten in hours.
That's true. We should get you. Oh, all right. We slidey.
Yeah, that's why I have it on this little mat thing. There we go. All right. Oh boy.
I got it.
All right. Kat's going to read, and I'm going to eat this donut.
Da, 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 da. I can do words. How do I scroll? Two fingers?
2 fingers.
Okay, wonderful. My name is April, and this incident turned my whole world upside down. Mm-hmm. It's not that I want to go back in time and find Roger. Mm-hmm. I know he's gone, but Roger was finally happy with life. Yeah. Finally healthy, and poof, just gone.
Oh, relax.
It's not that scary. It's just a story.
He just wants the donut.
So my then boyfriend spent unending days with search and rescue to look for Roger. They had cadaver dogs and helicopters searching the whole of the Everglades, and the only thing that makes any sense of this, a decade later, is that it could be supernatural in nature. It was in broad daylight. Roger was with a group. They had made it back to the RV, and he was just gone. His wife went crazy. My ex, who had flown out to Florida to join the search, drove their motorhome back to the West Coast, and the whole way, Roger's mom blamed him. So much emotional damage was done with a single disappearance. The only things found were one of the $25 bills he had and his hat. There were no big crocs in the area, no gigantic snakes, nothing that could have taken him down a healthy man silently. This hasn't haunted me, but this is something that I've never gotten over. How does this even happen? They brought out a psychic. Maybe they should have gone native? I no longer speak to my ex, and this was a catalyst to my life as I knew it was crumbling. I occasionally reach out to Roger's daughter-in-law to see if anything secret has come back, only because Roger at one point in his life left everything he knew to restart his life over with a new woman. There was evidence of that, whereas with this, the only thought was he hitched a ride out to the Everglades to start over again with only $195 in his pocket. I know that isn't what he did. It's just the only logical explanation for not finding a body, or blood, or even hair. Nothing. No footprints. Even in a swamp.
Is that where the story ends?
That is where the story ends.
I remember that one. I will say, I remember when that one was sent to me, the whole time I was like, this is really weird. And then it got to the part about him running off with another woman, and I was like,
maybe it's not that weird, yeah. It is Florida.
Yeah. That said, it is a weird story. And I don't think that one particularly is all that weird by comparison to some of the other stuff that I've read. Because there is, a possibility that he just hecked off.
I can see there not being footprints in a swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
It's swampy. It's like he's squishing
well,
up
I mean,
his footprint, and then it slops back in just because that's the nature of swamp.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes if somebody goes missing in a swamp in Florida, search and rescue won't be able to find them, except their parents will be able to find them in half an hour. Apparently. And nobody will ask questions, and the FBI will just accept that as reasonable.
They just knew him super
Looking at you, Chris Laundrie, you coward. You know what happened, and you deserve a lawsuit. I hope you lose. I know you can't go to jail over it, but you deserve, at least to get fined or something. I don't know. It sucks that we can't do anything to these people. I also don't believe for a second that Brian Laundrie is dead. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it because if we get into it, I will talk for hours. But yeah, I mean...
So Florida people going missing.
Florida people going missing is not weird at all.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
It's... I was going to say something rather than you. I was going to say it's in the nature of Florida people to go missing.
It is in the nature of the Florida man.
No, I have friends from Florida.
Have they ever gone missing?
No, not yet.
Is that a threat?
Not intentionally,
Don't cross me or I'll make you go missing in Florida.
I don't want to say no, but not to my knowledge. Not that I'm aware.
What are you licking? What are you doing? Do I taste good?
Just giving you love.
You're a good boy. Can I take this out of your fur, maybe? Thank you. I don't know what it was, but don't bite me. Can you get down? Can you get down? Let's read another one. We got more.
Yeah.
Woohoo! This one is from Gwen. To start off this story. I should set the scene. I was not older than 12, and I was spending the summer with my dad. My dad's house is in a cluster of farmhouses in the European countryside. We usually don't get stories from Europe.
No.
The closest urban area, and I have a theory about that, and I'll get into it in a moment. But the closest urban area is about a 20-minute walk away. That's not that far. The surrounding area is just...
to get to my apartment.
Yeah, exactly. Here, yeah. The surrounding area is just forests and cornfields. My dad's house is one of 3 houses in his building. That's not a house. That's an apartment. But also Europe, so they may be translating.
True.
Right. It's laid out like a studio apartment with an extra room at the end of the hall. Well, you know the word apartment, so why did you say house to me?
It wouldn't be a studio if there's a room at the end of the hall. Then it's a one-bedroom
I'm trying to conceptualize the layout of this apartment.
It's laid out like a studio, except there's a bedroom. So it's a one-bedroom.
I don't know.
So it's a one-bedroom.
This night I was sleeping out in the main area on a fold-up bed/couch. Next to me was a door leading to the backyard, and the bed/couch, that's called a sofa bed, faced towards a window. I had woke up in the middle of the night and immediately saw 2 large, shadowy figures with big, red, glowing eyes standing outside that window.
Oh, we know about red, glowing eyes.
Mm-hmm. They were hard to make out in the darkness, but from what I could make out, I could see some sort of ragged fur on these figures. I don't remember much of that night, but those glowing eyes will forever be burned into my mind. These creatures filled me with raw fear I can't even describe. I did not sleep at all for the rest of the night. So I was not told what country this was, but apparently somewhere in Europe. Of course, that sounds mostly like werewolves.
Does it?
2 large furry creatures with glowing red eyes standing outside the window.
She said shadowy figures.
She said they have fur, though.
Okay, so there might be fur. But they also might be shadowy.
Well, shadowy with fur.
Were they... I missed if they were inside or outside.
Outside. Shadow people traditionally are
inside.
Indoor. Those are indoor pets. But a lot of people ask me questions like, why are there so many stories of these things in America and Asia and Australia, but not Europe? And to be fair, there are stories of a lot of certain creatures from Europe, but specifically things that fall along the Wendigo style of creature. There aren't any of those. And my theory, as I put forward, is that the Wendigo and the Nephilim and the Jotnar and all these things are
all the big baddies.
All of these are like the same thing, that we're just telling that story in different ways because we all experienced it, but before we were connected to one another.
Yeah.
So as you go and you talk to different cultures, they're like, oh yeah, we have something like that too. Because we all experienced it, and that's, in my opinion, where the Uncanny Valley came from. We just did a video on that. It came out yesterday, so if you're interested, go check that out after the show. But yeah, so there's everyone's got this story except the Europeans.
What's up with that?
There are simply no things that really fit that archetype within European mythology.
So is it because there's more people there?
So another unique thing about Europe is how many wars have happened there.
Over the years, quite a few, yeah.
There has probably been more death from war specifically in Europe than the rest of the world combined. Europeans have, since the dawn of civilization, been really good at killing things, especially each other. And then around the 1500s, they realized that while they were very good at killing each other, it was much easier to kill other people. So why take each other's land when you could go take other people's? And that's why there was so much peace in Europe, except for all the wars. Because even when Europe is at peace, Europe is at war. That's why this whole Ukraine thing is weird. We're like, we haven't seen this in a long time. And I'm like, you mean 30 years? What? What about the Balkans? Do you remember the Balkans? I don't. I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, how are you going to remember the Balkans?
I remember the Argonne. But yeah, so my theory with it was basically that, if you're dealing with something that is mortal, that is not actually necessarily supernatural to the extent of being a demon, but something more akin to Nephilim, which are mortal, they are corporeal, they are human angel hybrids.
Yeah.
So they can be killed.
Right.
In some traditions, you might worship those things as gods. If you're from Europe, you might say, you know what would get me a lot of street cred? Killing a god. And then they did. And I think that's why they don't have these stories, is because if that thing was real, they killed it.
But why don't we have stories of them killing it?
We do.
Oh.
We have all sorts of stories like the Cyclops.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of stories from European folklore about them. Grendel. Just killing giant humanoid monsters because they could.
There's a thing to do, I guess.
There's stories of Norse heroes, like humans.
Yeah, those are pretty crazy. Yeah.
Killing giants.
Yeah.
It's most of the Norse sagas are about the gods, but like in some
right.
cases, you got human beings doing it. And this is all over Europe, so it's just that Europeans are really good at combat, apparently. And I, as the historian in me is like, it kind of makes sense that Europe was the region to conquer the world because not because they were particularly advanced or intelligent or athletic. It's just that they seem to have been so there is a savageness within the heart of the white man that is unparalleled across the rest of the planet. Take that as you will.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. But so if the basis of that is true, and that there are no Nephilim and monsters in Europe, or none, but very little due to the war and how good Europeans are at combat.
Yeah.
Then why are there so many stories in the U.S. given the United States track record and defense budget?
It's big. This is a big place.
That's true.
And this is something that a lot of Europeans don't get. A lot of Europeans have the misconception about the United States that, like, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and North Carolina are, like, if you live in central Virginia, you can easily drive up to Pennsylvania for dinner and then down to North Carolina for,
because they can do that with, like,
Germany, you can do that from, like,
and
France, Germany,
and
Belgium.
yeah.
They don't have a good concept of how big this country is, and the fact that Pennsylvania alone is the size of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that Ohio is bigger than Germany. And not even to address the Dakotas that are just, like, wide.
Mm-hmm. She thick.
You could fit two Europes you could fit two Europes in the contiguous United States. And Europe, being half the size of the United States, has twice the population. So, there's a lot more room to hide.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidey holes.
In the United States and Canada. Because, again, we got to include Canada in this. Like,
that's true.
Between the U.S. and Canada, I think the population is still only, like, the recorded population is still only, like, 400 million. Mm-hmm. So, across a landmass the size of Russia. Like, there's a lot of space to hide, so that's kind of been like my running thing with it is, the reason you don't have this stuff in Europe is because there's so little space and so many people, and those people are very violent.
Is a high population density of incredibly aggressive inhabitants.
It's terrifying. It was genuinely terrifying. But, I think that's why you see a lot less of it. But you do still get stories of werewolves and vampires and things. But the interesting thing about a lot of the European stories... What are you chewing on?
Oh, no, we found something.
What's interesting to me about a lot of the European stories is that it's almost always something that can appear human or can shapeshift. So there's certain things in I'm trying to remember the exact names of the creatures, but I can't off the top of my head at the moment. But there's all sorts of things in European mythology and folklore that are like they look human, but one distinct thing will be off if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
There's one thing maybe it's Kelpies, but I don't think it's Kelpies. There's one that it appears human except it has a horse's tail.
Oh. I feel like that's pretty obvious. You know what I mean?
Not if you're wearing clothes. You can find a way to hide it.
A horse's tail?
Yeah.
A horse's tail.
Mm-hmm.
The tail of a horse.
You can hide that. Yeah.
I mean, like, with, like, one of those, like, really, like, big, poofy Victorian dresses, maybe.
When you're wearing pants, you can just wrap it around.
No, you're not just gonna wrap it around. You could wear a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
You could wear a cloak.
We know they like cloaks.
You can't wear skinny jeans, that's for sure.
That is true, yeah. The skinny jeans would definitely show off your bump. Bulge.
It would be a bulge.
It would be a bulge.
It would be a bulge.
Is that a horse's tail in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? We should not drink during the show.
No, we really shouldn't. History Daddy had a question about the British Sasquatch.
British Sasquatch? Alright, well, I guess we're looking at something else up. Like, this is just going to be the show, is people are just going to ask questions. And I'm just gonna look it up, read about it, and then give my thoughts. As
I want to know if the British Sasquatch
comparative
is
cultural
mostly human,
anthropologist.
except for one, in your opinion, would be easily hideable.
I look up British Sasquatch. The first thing I get is an Amazon.com man monkey in search of the British Bigfoot.
Oh my god!
For $14.99.
Small price of pay.
Was Bigfoot spotted in Britain in September from the Daily Mail, as we all know, an extraordinarily reputable news source. Oh, it's a video.
Oh boy.
So of course the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to zoom into the base of the tree and see what we see. Now, I'm going to go on record here and say I know nothing about the history of sightings of any possible Bigfoot creatures in the UK. So I'm going to compare anything I see here to what we know about North American Sasquatch. And upon zooming in here to the base of the tree, which is this tree right here, you do see what appears to be a figure standing there motionless. And as I move this forward, a few seconds before the tree movement, I don't see any kind of motion of the figure itself, except for a very slight possible motion right there. If you look at what might be the shoulder here, it looks like there's a lighting change. Now that could be from the motion of the figure, or it could be the lighting level has changed due to the fact that the tree above it has changed positions. Now, here's a little bit better look at it. Now this does somewhat appear to be a figure that might conform to what we know as Bigfoot here in North America. Again, I don't know anything about history of Bigfoot in the United Kingdom, but you know, it's possible. If you believe in the Bering Land Bridge theory that Bigfoot migrated to North America during the Ice Age across the Bering Land Bridge along with humans, then it's very possible the same thing might have happened for some kind of a westward migration across Asia and Europe into the United Kingdom during the last Ice Age as well. So of course the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to zoom into the base of the tree.
I mean, it's scant.
It's very scant.
Tree,
it could be a deer.
That could be a number of things. I mean, Britain does have stories of
Man monkey.
Well, not man monkey, but Unfair Lamore, who's a Scottish legend. The big gray man is, I believe, the translation. And he is spotted on... Let me look up the exact name of the mountain because I don't want to butcher it. It's also, of course, Scots, so the spelling is... You want to guess how Unfair Lamore is spelled?
No.
Amfear. How do you think lay is spelled?
Oh, is it Ley?
Nope, it's Liath.
Oh.
Ben Macdui. That is the I think in Scottish it's actually Macadui, or Macadoo. I don't speak Scots. But the big gray man is described much more like Bigfoot than anything else, and it's basically a creature that is supposedly present on the slopes and passes of this mountain, and people will see it through the mist. And the common explanation is pattern recognition. Your brain is trying to pick out patterns and see something in the mist, but at the same time, rather interesting description of something you saw in the mist. Large gray man. And the people who have seen it are pretty adamant about it. This shows up, I believe, for the first time in the 1800s. But, I mean, it's plausible. I have not... Have we reached blue tips yet? Yes. I believe so. And if we haven't reached it today, we'll reach it tomorrow. I hate myself. I hate myself for what I do.
I'm so looking forward to this. Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be cobalt blue? Is it gonna be like electric blue?
I'm gonna talk to my stylist. We'll see how my boss responds.
Oh, that's right, because you have a big boy job now.
Yeah, we'll see how he likes that. If he doesn't like it, you guys might have to super chat me a bit more money. To, pay rent. But,
I would ask for forgiveness on that one and not permission.
Yeah. Sorry, Jason.
I feel like that's a very marketing SEO kind of person to do. I feel like that's the sort of you're just fitting into the role that you have.
Exactly. I'm nobody sees me. Ever. I don't even show my face on Zoom calls.
Just wear a hat.
Because
get an old-timey fedora and only wear that. And then God. He can't do that without discriminating against you. Because you're gonna be like, what? You don't like this hat that's of my people?
Right.
Which is, I don't know.
Oh my God.
The white man, but and also then you could tip it and go you could do the milady.
Oh boy! To really quickly answer, to answer 113 Charlie, we do have a Discord server, and actually now we have a vanity title, so you can just look. You can just go to discord.gg/the Lore Lodge, and that will take you to the server, which is really cool. I have a great mod team now. They're not openly hostile towards me like the last one was.
Were they hostile to just you, or was it you and Other Aiden?
Well, Other Aiden wasn't really there all that often.
Oh,
but no, they were pretty openly hostile. It was rough. Yeah, I do love Graham Hancock. I read a lot of I don't read a lot of his stuff. I watch a lot of his stuff. I can read some more of my stories. We do, Clifford, have a few of my originals that are actually on the channel right now that you can go read that were recorded and edited, not read live. And I did different voices, and there's sound effects in some cases.
They're actually really, really good.
I'm really proud of specifically, what was the name of the video? It was A Mission Like Any Other. That one... it took me hours because I recorded it and then I set the audio to when one person was talking I'd speak in a different accent and then I'd have the audio pan for the next person so you'd hear one person in your right ear, one person in your left ear.
Highly recommend having headphones for listening
to
it.
It definitely
it's a great experience.
It definitely helps to have headphones. But yeah, it's a lot of work, and that's why I haven't done it as much recently. Once I'm finished the story I'm writing for the Patreon serial, which follows a guy named Sean as he tumbles into a cave and is being hunted by underground cave people. It is very descriptive, so if you don't like... If you have a queasy stomach, I would caution you about reading it. But at the same time, I think it's a good story, and I'm writing it with little individual climaxes for each part. It's very, very much a serial. I've got to actually write more so that I can get it set up. But it's been a wild few months recently. Words are hard.
Words are hard.
History Daddy says, most sightings happen up north, Scotland, on Dartmoor, or any of the weird stuff that happens in Epping Forest. You guys, can you just name something? What are you doing? The names, man! Most sightings happen... I've only seen Black Shuck. Black Shuck is an interesting one. Lots of shadow people, too. A lot of people have seen shadow people. That is probably the most common one. Again, I know it could be pattern recognition. I know we have the pattern-seeking monkey brain. But, I'm gonna go full Alex Jones on the pattern-seeking monkey brain thing. Just gonna make a rant video where I just talk about pattern-seeking monkey brain. Black Shuck is interesting. I like how Black Shuck and the Welsh Gulchi have very similar appearances. But Black Shuck is more of a harbinger of doom, whereas the Gulchi will just rip you to shreds and eat you. Basically, the Welsh were like, we're gonna one up your lame black dog legend. That was what I was supposed to finish researching today, was Hellhounds, because we're gonna be doing a video on that. I'll have to do that in the morning.
Do you think Archie could be a hellhound?
Archie is far too dumb to be a hellhound. I love him, but oh my god. Let's see. Tank's channel. Hi, Tank's channel. Tank's channel said he was hunting a wild back in a marshy area and just scouting nothing out of the norm, but didn't notice at the time everything was still dead quiet. And then all of a sudden he hears this howl.
Yikes.
He's not sure what it is. It sounded like it could have been a coyote, wolf, dogman, werewolf. Ooh, dogman, werewolf. That's a big one.
Dogman, werewolf.
Bigfoot.
It's a werewolf on the full moon. It's a wolf on the full moon, and then it's a dogman the rest of the other 29 days of the month.
Werewolf that's always a wolf.
No, it's a dog. It's a man dog. It's a dog man. But then it got bitten by a werewolf, so now it turns into a wolf.
Are you good?
On the full moon.
That's the other thing on this channel that I think is funny. We've gone into we have 39. No, we're on, I think tomorrow is episode 39 of the podcast.
Oh.
But we're up to like 34 of the Friday episodes. There's the recorded lore episodes. And we have yet to talk about zombies or werewolves. We have not talked about the mainstream. I don't think we've talked about vampires.
We talked about vampires?
No, on the recorded one.
Oh, on the recorded. I was just going to say we've talked about.
We've talked about vampires. Taylor says Archie is as smart as his owner. Exactly.
Yikes. No.
Exactly.
Oh.
He's such a good boy. Oh, he farted. Ah!
He's been farting this
whole God.
time. It's been a horrible.
Oh, good Lord.
I have been suffering. That's rank, honestly.
Oh, good God, Arch.
What did your parents feed him?
Oh, thanks, History Daddy. That 2 pounds goes a lot further here, thanks to inflation. I was once woken up by a horrible noise and then realized I fell asleep at my desk and Aiden Mattis had gone live. We should do one of these streams where people just, like, super chat to roast me.
I would love that.
Yeah, that's, we'll plan that so we can just have a roast hour. The roast of Aiden Mattis.
Oh, you could roast other Aiden, too.
Honestly, yeah, they should. Both of us are roast worthy, if I'm being honest.
Oh. I mean, the roasts come from a place of love.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Let's see, what else we got here? Dogman Werewolf sounds like a webcomic waiting to exist. True. If you're watching and you do webcomics, go for it.
I would love to see this.
We're not going to claim that. You can have it. Dexter says, hey Aiden, I just want to say that I love your content and that when I ever feel lonely, I just think of your videos. Remember, I live in Montana and it's winter. Well, thank you. I'm glad that I help you not feel lonely, but oh my God, Montana in the winter sounds rough. Oh, although Montana in the summer sounds phenomenal.
This does sound cool, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is that what we're doing next Saturday, Taylor? Or are we doing the roast of Aiden Mattis?
Ooh, I don't think you have a plan for next Saturday, do you?
What?
Bird.
No, I do not. I never have a plan.
That is true.
Let's see. Taylor, I'm giving you mod privileges, by the way. Because we don't have any mods here. I have to mod or Aiden has to mod, and it's rough. One of the weirdest things I've seen was on a paranormal stakeout when coming back from the toilet with a friend. We saw something run out of a bush on all fours and then in a fluid motion. Ooh. Well, finish the story, Daddy!
Ooh!
Move into a sprint in humanoid form. We looked at each other and realized we saw the same thing.
Yikes.
That sounds like... That sounds like a skinwalker. For the first time in my life, somebody has described something that sounds like a skinwalker. What do you mean apologies for spelling? You say that like you didn't just type in English.
Where was it? Where was
now
the
wishing,
stakeout?
now wishing to me right now. English is my native language. This is how the language is meant to be spoken.
That's true. I mean, if you're coming from England, then anything that you spell is technically the proper.
It's Saturday, ain't it? It's okay to make fun of the English. They're not people.
It's not funny, is it?
No, but it's not funny, isn't it? Serious.
It's really serious.
I do think it's funny how Americans can just easily do an English accent,
No,
but
we
English
can't.
people have a really hard time with American accents. Like,
Well, that's because there's
Tom
so
Holland
many
is special.
regional. Tom Holland is amazing. There's so many regional American accents. It's like, are you gonna go for like Valley Girl?
Well, that's the
are
thing.
you gonna go for
They-
Texas?
they
are you
all
gonna go
have
for
that,
New
like,
York?
whenever people mimic an
can't do
American
accent.
accent from England, they always do. I need to stop listening to you at night. Last week I've been terrified because of you. My bad. Just drink before bed, and then you'll fall asleep.
No, that makes it worse.
Not in my experience. People often ask me, Aiden, with all the things you talk about, how do you sleep? And the answer is lots of drinking.
That's horrible. No.
Not really.
But
Actually,
at the end of the day, it's not funny, is it? It's serious, isn't it?
What was I talking about? Oh, right, yeah. Whenever English people do an American accent, it's always like a very LA. Like that very clean...
L.A.
No, not like Valley Girl. Just like that very clean, like crisp American accentless way of talking.
No, there is no accentless way of talking.
But, think about what you see in Hollywood. When people aren't doing an accent, that's how English people talk when they speak in an American accent.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you understand, because they could talk like they're from the Midwest, you know?
I do love a
And if you
Midwestern
were to
accent.
talk like this all the time, you would get nowhere. You would get nowhere in the entertainment industry, because, don't you know, like, this would just be very difficult. It would make you very sad. All of the southern accents really easy to do, and it kind of rolls off your tongue like smooth molasses. Yeah. You started the accent, and the dog I'm watching over suddenly became very confused. Well, we've been talking about it. One of the donation goals for this past month was Aiden and I have to do an entire show in accents.
What accent?
We haven't decided yet.
I think
Originally
it should be
Irish.
fan. Oh, Irish is tough.
Well, the thing about the Irish accent is you really got to get into it, you know? And if you're not careful, you could very easily slip into a Scottish accent, and then you find yourself doing a lot more of the guttural stuff. But then you can put it a little bit more into the front of your mouth, and then you end up doing a Welsh accent. And it's a little easier to understand than the Scottish or the Irish. But at the very end of the day, you might as well just do the English accent. Because if you talk like this, very much everybody's going to understand what you're saying.
Wow. That was phenomenal. That was actually really, really good.
It's years of acting.
Really, really good.
But, like, the thing is, I joke about how when people from England, like, will speak in an American accent, it's that very Hollywood
Well,
crisp
that makes
one.
sense because that's probably what most people are
Exactly.
listening to.
So when an American
like,
speaks in
when
an
we-
Irish accent, it's very much a Dublin, like...
Yeah. And if I'm talking in a British accent, it's going to be from, like, wherever
London.
Doctor Who is from. I don't know.
All right, you're a nerd.
Haha. Northern Irish accent is the hardest accent to pull off. I believe that 100%.
History Daddy, my God, you can tell us all the stories you want when you're on the show tomorrow.
A faceless ghost? Oh my god.
I've heard of, like, faceless man kind of stuff.
Is it just like shadowy, so like the face isn't fully formed, or is it like the face is missing in a
That
very
is a good question.
gruesome way?
Just don't piss Conor McGregor off. I'll avoid it. Nicholas Adams says, hey, Nicholas, how you doing? Yeah, but no, it's funny, like, the way that accents, you know, travel, like, in media and everything, because I've met the vast majority of Southern people that I've met did not have a strong Southern accent.
I think it depends. Every time I go to Texas, I'm always like, oh, that's right, we talk like this.
Oh, okay, Texans are...
Well, what do you mean by Southern? Like, you go down to Virginia?
No, like North Carolina, South Carolina.
That's not South. I mean, like, it is.
I don't think they'd agree with you.
It is the South, but
Virginia.
it's not Southern accent territory.
Virginia.
I would say West Pennsylvania is honestly more Southern accent territory than, like, Myrtle Beach ever
Well, the
would
thing
be.
is, like, Pennsylvania, you go, like, you get outside of the 5 counties, which, again, something you're not going to understand unless you live here. Philadelphia is
Oh, Philly and the Boys.
big city. Philadelphia County is
It's
basically
a very small county.
Philadelphia. It's like the city of Philadelphia and then Manayunk, which is a borough. Like where we live in Phoenixville. Phoenixville's a borough. Pennsylvania also set up its townships, boroughs, counties, everything.
Yeah, no one else really
Pennsylvania
does that.
is a
I'm
mess.
sure other people do that, but it's really weird.
Pennsylvania is one of the oldest administrative regions in the United States.
Well, that's why it's a commonwealth.
Yeah, and it's weird. We are still a commonwealth. I think Virginia is also a commonwealth.
Virginia is also a commonwealth.
I don't think New York is.
New York is not a commonwealth.
But the thing is, it's even though we're a commonwealth, we're also a state. But like, not all states are commonwealths, but all commonwealths are states.
Correct.
It's all very, very confusing, but
Alabama, huge southern accent. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you get to the U.S. Gulf Coast, you're in that USGC region, you're gonna hear it.
But that's the thing is, like, there's a difference between a Savannah accent, where you're kind of talking with a little bit of this drawl.
You don't have to talk like you're a plantation owner.
Yeah, exactly. Versus Alabama, you get down there, it's a little bit more like this, kind of redneck and hillbilly and everything. You know
Roll
what I'm
Tide.
talking about? Roll Tide. As a Penn State fan, fuck you, Alabama. Maybe just stop. Let someone else win. For once. Penn State, all we've got is, like, our football team's good, don't get me wrong, but the sport where Penn State is, like, number one year after year is wrestling. But nobody cares.
No.
Growing up around here, at least I could root for Villanova in basketball, even though Villanova sucks at everything else. Like, right now, PSU Barstool lately has just literally been constantly like, today we're all Villanova fans, and Villanova is like, no, you're not. We're like, shush. We're rooting for you. Yeah, but no, man, if in Pennsylvania you get outside of that 5-county area, and even where we are right here, we're still well within Chester County.
Well,
even we're on the border with Montco, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
Because Montco is just poorer Chesco, and then we don't claim Delaware County.
Why not?
Delaware can have that. Have you ever heard somebody from Delaware County talk?
That Delco accent.
That Delco accent.
That Delco accent.
He's goated.
Yeah.
He's goated. Like, going to the Wawa.
Get a
Go to the
hoagie.
Wawa, get a hoagie.
I love the Delco accent. I'm a fan. I'm such a fan of accent. And the heavy Delco gets
he's
me.
goated. He's good. We're gonna go down to Wawa and we're gonna watch the Birds game. He's got a big flat screen TV in my parents' basement. Like, that's how they talk.
Go Eagles.
The Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
Yeah, Eagles. And they don't even talk like people from Philly.
No, Philly.
Like, Philly's almost like this
Center
weird,
City
almost
really
like
doesn't
Jersey
have-
accent.
Shoot, but Delco is very strong
Yeah.
and very distinct, which is fun.
And for
I
what?
think it's fun.
And for what?
I think it's
Why?
I think it's fun.
Why is Delaware County the way that they are?
I think it's fun.
But no, you get basically anywhere west of where we are right now, and it goes from like a pretty like it's not urban, but like it's it's good neighborhoods, good families, good jobs. Like
It's just the suburban.
it's suburban,
surrounding Philadelphia. It's just Philadelphia suburban.
and it's
surrounding
purple
county.
politically.
Yes.
You go anywhere west of where we currently are, and you're in deep red.
There's pockets. So Lancaster's a pocket.
Of what?
Like.
Well, like the
Purple.
urban center.
Yeah, like the
Like Lancaster, the city of Lancaster.
the city of Lancaster, not Lancaster County. The city
Stop
of Lancaster.
saying it like that.
Lancaster.
It's not Lancaster. It is Lancaster.
Lancaster.
It's Lancaster. Say it with it, right? Say Lane.
Lancaster.
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 Not Lancaster.
So it was.
See, History Daddy's going to argue with me about this because he's British.
Lancaster.
It's going to be like,
Go
actually,
to
it's
Lancaster, which is where
Lancaster.
one of my favorite coffee roasters is. And then Harrisburg, I feel like, is also like a city. And then you've got all the way out west.
Yeah.
You've got Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Which
But
is
those are, that's the thing is like outside of those pockets, like Allegheny County.
outside of those pockets. No, I worked and lived in
Yeah.
Elk County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like county wise, at the county level, it's like Philadelphia's blue. Bucks, Montco, Chesco, and Delco. Those are all purple.
Yeah, and then anything outside of a city is like hard south.
It is literally outside of those 5. It is Allegheny County, which is Pittsburgh, Center County, which is State College, where Penn State is, and like sometimes the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area.
Hold on, I might be vindicated here. T.L. Lancaster says, no, it is not. It is like Lancaster. I'm right.
And
I'm right.
T.L. Lancaster, where are you from?
I think
Lackawanna definitely does
correct.
have an accent. Yeah, Lackawanna County, that's where Scranton is. They definitely have an accent. As a strong Yorkist, the mention of a Lancaster hurts me. The House of York shall rise again. I'm going to have to ask you some questions tomorrow on the show about how you feel about the Glendower Rising of 1400.
Okay. TL's from Texas. What's up? Represent.
Yeah, so your opinion doesn't matter. You're not from Lancaster. I'm just kidding. I love you. Aiden, you have a very spot-on pronunciation of Lancaster. Do you pronounce it that way over there? I'm surprised by that. I always thought it was Lancaster over there.
Lancaster.
But here it's definitely Lancaster. And interestingly enough, my mortal enemy, Ohio, they also pronounce it Lancaster.
Is there a Lancaster, Ohio?
There is a Lancaster, Ohio, and not only is there a Lancaster, Ohio, they have Amish people there too.
Oh, that's hilarious.
When I say Ohio is just boring Pennsylvania, I mean it.
It's worse.
What are the good things about Pennsylvania, right? We have Philadelphia, which has everything New York has.
I wouldn't go that far.
What does New York have that Philadelphia doesn't?
I mean, like I'm not saying that they have, like, things that are better that Philadelphia doesn't have. I think they have things that are worse that Philadelphia doesn't have.
Crime.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm talking about New York the city, not New York the state.
Yeah, New York, Manhattan.
Oh, well... Manhattan is very specific.
I will compare Philadelphia to Manhattan.
Well, like, it's still a lot smaller.
Than Manhattan?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people are in Manhattan?
Well, Manhattan is a very small part of a very big city.
Yeah, but it's about the same size as Philly. And Manhattan's where all the shit is, you know? Like when people talk,
I think you're stretching
when
here.
you talk about New York,
here.
when you talk about New York City, you're not talking about the Bronx.
You could be. It's the whole enchilada, Aiden.
No, you don't get to have an entire plate of Spanish rice, beans, salsa, and an enchilada, and say the whole thing is the enchilada. Manhattan is the enchilada.
No.
I would argue
Manhattan is the beans.
I'd argue Brooklyn is like the salsa.
Why would Brooklyn be the salsa?
I don't know. Brooklyn seems kind of spicy.
No, Brooklyn does not.
Yeah. What else? You got Queens would be the garbage bin next to the table.
Stop.
No, that's the Bronx.
That's the Bronx.
No, Queens is the beans.
Queens is the beans.
Brooklyn's the rice. Manhattan, I maintain, is the enchilada itself.
No, Manhattan cannot.
No, Brooklyn's the salsa. The Bronx is the rice.
No, the Bronx was the dumpster next to the
Bronx is the dumpster. Okay, so.
No, we're not.
Man,
we're not.
Is this hate speech?
Oh no! Oh God! What have you talked me into?
We do not speak about west of the Schuylkill River. It's all a farm simulator.
All right, so
I'm just impressed that you spelled Schuylkill right. He spelled it right.
The Schuylkill?
Yeah, the squickle.
No,
wait. We have a very important question from Arctic Penguin. Are you team wheels or doors?
What does that mean?
Are there more wheels or more doors?
Oh, in your house?
In the world.
In the world. I'm gonna be team wheels.
Every doorknob contains a wheel. It's wheels. It's just wheels. I have a fairly strong Essex accent, so I may not have the best pronunciation. I like the way your voice sounds. I do. I'll play you some of his videos later. Ohio is jealous of any state that isn't Ohio. That's the problem with Ohio, is they're not. They're not jealous, and they should be.
They should feel bad.
They don't have the self-awareness to realize
when they
that they're
say,
Ohio.
"Oh, I'm from Ohio," there should be an apology attached to that statement.
Yes, I must regretfully inform you that I am from Ohio.
Like you're going, you know, maybe like first couple dates with someone, then like they let you know, like,
Exactly.
oh, I'm from Ohio. Like I feel like you need, you know, it's implied that there should be an apology.
James Carrier says that Staten Island is the dumpster.
Oh no,
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
He also says
really
Lancaster,
need to
Pennsylvania is
New
the
York.
largest Amish community. Yes, that's true. Taylor is Team Wheels. Not all doors have doorknobs. That is true.
That is true. That
but
is true.
Any door that has a mechanism that turns something
But every
has a wheel.
Wheel has a door on it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm really just messing
Archie,
with
would you relax? Oh, it's time for your treat, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it treat time?
I think it's treat time. I know.
Cupboard doors. I feel
Well,
like
that already
cupboard
has to
doors have wheels in there. I think that's the
Well,
mechanism
here's the thing
of
about
the
car
opening.
doors. At most, a car cancels out wheels to doors.
If we're
Because
no,
a car can have at most 4 doors.
no.
What
Well,
cars have more than
do
4 doors?
you count the hatch to get in the back?
I don't know. I wouldn't count that as a door.
That's kind of a door.
More of a gate. Is a
That's
gate a door?
It's a gated door. I think it's a door. And then if we're counting the back to put
But-
your stuff
but-
into
but
the
if
car,
your
that's
car
a
has
door.
knobs.
I think that's
If you have
definitely a door.
knobs. If you have knobs.
But
If you have knobs.
is the popping the hood, is the hood access hatch, or access hatches, doors? Because
Well, let's
Because
for
then-
example, let's take this room, right? The mouse has a wheel.
it's a very loose definition of wheel. You know what
It's
I mean?
a wheel. It turns.
It does turn,
This has wheel,
but this
wheel.
opens.
That doesn't make it a door.
Well,
Having hinges does not a door make.
what is the definition of a door?
That
if not
guitar has
hinges?
2 wheels on it. Actually, that guitar has 8 wheels on it.
But what else would a door be? Could that not be a door to get into your laptop?
Even so, that's still only what? 1, 2,
I'm
3,
just saying,
4,
I'm just saying,
5.
you're
Oh wow,
taking
this
a
room has a
very-
lot of doors.
You're taking a very loose interpretation of wheels, and you're being very strict about the definition of doors. So you're going to be biased towards team wheels.
Okay, but hang on. All right, so let's say anything with hinges, anything with at least 2 hinges, is a door.
Why
anything
only 2
that turns
hinges?
is a
Why
wheel.
can't you have one hinge door?
What door do you know that has 1 hinge?
I don't know.
You're unhinged.
What if it's
But,
one long hinge?
All right.
What if it's one
Again,
long hinge?
Fine, 1 long hinge. Anything with a hinge is a door.
Anything
all right.
with a hinge is a door.
Anything with a hinge that moves in this that direction. I'm just making sure we're agreeing. Okay. Anyway, so we've got in this room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors. Right? Cat.
Is a window a door?
6 doors. We'll count the window as a door because I'm going to win this argument anyway.
But windows
Ready?
don't have hinges. Windows slide because you can have sliding doors. So now we need to expand the definition of
Okay,
doors to
fine.
things that have hinges and things that slide.
Okay, so a door is something that opens using a mechanism.
A door is something that opens using mechanism. I'd say there's a
Okay,
lot
fine.
of those.
Okay, so in this room, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doors, right?
Every valve then is a door.
Fine.
Your faucets
Fine.
are valves that are now things that open that are now as defined.
Can I win the argument
doors.
now?
No, you can't. I
Yes.
won't let it.
Ready?
I
Are
won't
you
let
ready for me to win the argument? You're sitting in a chair that has a wheel. 1 wheel, 2 wheels. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wheels.
That's just in this room, though. We were talking
There's
about
3
in
of
the
these
world.
in this room.
In the world.
There's 3 of these in this room, Cat.
I think there's more things that open and close
Cat,
than
cat,
there
come
are
on.
things
Cat,
that spin.
Cat. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doors. Ready? 5 doors, or not doors. Wheels. 5 wheels. There's another one right here. 10 wheels. 15 wheels.
This is fun.
See that guitar right there? That guitar has two knobs right there, and then 6 more up there. 8 wheels. What's 8 plus 15?
23.
Yes. Ready?
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wheels. 30 wheels. 30 wheels in the room. You want to know there was another one of these in here? There's another one of these in here.
So we're up to 36.
This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wheels. So that's we're up to 38 wheels. This is a wheel, so that's 39 wheels. That's a wheel, so that's 40 wheels.
Oh my god.
This one has one too, so that's 50 wheels.
Oh my god.
Wait, no,
guys.
41 wheels. So there's at least 41 wheels in this room and 6 doors. You want to tell me that this one room...
I think there's more doors.
This one room that has
More
41
doors.
wheels.
More doors.
You're telling me if one room has 41 wheels and 6 doors, there are more doors in the world?
4, 5, because you've got 2 windows. 6, 7. There's a sauce container in here that has a lid on it.
A lid is not a door.
It can open or close.
Because a door has to be attached to something to be a door.
It is attached. It's locked in. The mechanism of it unattaching is, like, physical. Well, it's just, the door is still here.
Door removed.
The door
removed.
The door is in the room. You've just opened it. Now you've closed it.
Oh my god, I'm going to throw it away.
So
I'm going to throw away the door.
It still exists in the world.
I'll be back.
The door still exists. That's all I'm saying. That is just my worldview of doors versus wheels. Stop!
I brought more wheels.
You're just increasing the wheel to door ratio in this specific room. That doesn't.
Yes, but extrapolate the room out to the rest of the world.
That's not how that works.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Your recording studio is not a sample size for, like,
I disagree with you.
Existence.
Archie doesn't have any wheels turning in his head, so he's not a good example. Okay, but is a mouth a door then?
I was thinking about this. I was about to say it, and I'm glad that you said it, because you were going to yell at me, I think, if I said those words.
Why does the wheels versus doors argument have the most viewers at any point in the episode?
So I got a great question from Amy. How many wheels does my chair have? So there's
there's 5 wheels on the chair.
4, 5 wheels on the bottom, and then there's something that spins in here. Are we counting the spinning
Yes, the spinning thing is a wheel.
So that would be 6.
So there's 12 wheels just between the 2 chairs.
But does this hinge down and back?
Yeah.
So I would say that would be a door.
But it doesn't close.
No. Does a door have to close fully
Yes,
to be
I would
a door?
agree that the door has to close.
I don't think so.
I feel like you're just changing the rules at this point. I need Tums. I have heartburn.
I'm not changing the rules. We are establishing the rules as we're going.
Okay.
The rules were not established, so there's nothing for me to change. We are in the process of establishing.
There was a lot of...
We've really sparked that. We've gone deep. Archie is a door.
I don't know that Archie in his entirety is a door.
I'm so sorry that I called you Amy Taylor. I saw the last name, and you found one of those first name, last names, which is a really funny story, because I tend to go for people who have last names that are traditionally first names. That's a habit of mine.
I'm just realizing I don't know the last names of anyone you've dated. Like... But now I'm just going to assume it's something stupid like Steve.
No. I've dated some last names. I've dated a last name Lewis, last name Oliver, a last name Perry, a last name...
Who haven't you dated? Good God.
Hey. Be nice.
There's an answer.
The doors versus wheels is an easier question to answer.
Yeah.
So if a door is ajar, then that doesn't mean there are more jars
Kat,
than doors.
Kat is the classiest harlot in all of Phoenixville.
Thank you. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Mattis, yell at her for calling me Amy.
I am genuinely sorry.
Give me your hand.
Oh.
They had to hear it.
Fair.
So if a door is ajar, does that mean there are more jars than doors? The window seat is a door! Alright guys, I think it's time to end the podcast.
It might be that might be our sign.
The window seat is technically a door.
The window seat would be a door.
Is the door ajar or is the door ajar?
The door is ajar or the door is ajar? Ajar.
The lid, Patrick, the lid.
The jar.
Nostrils, they open and close, therefore they are doors.
Yes, I like that. Thank you. Eyes would also be doors, because we've got the eyelids.
I'm gonna hear. I want to hear a presidential debate.
Taylor, you asked for it. It's not abuse. You asked for it.
No, I think I'm abusing you.
No, I mean, like, that's the thing, though. I was punished at your request.
Kinky? Maybe?
History Daddy says he dated a guy named Alexander.
Alexander the Great.
Someone invented time travel.
Did someone say Windussi? Oh, good God.
Here we go. We've done it now.
Now you've gone and done it.
Oh, come on.
I can't believe you've done this. Archie is
frantic.
Absolutely.
He's lost his mind.
Losing it right now. Hinges are wheels, so every door adds more wheels.
No, I wouldn't say hinges are wheels.
I agree with him.
No.
Is consensual abuse?
Well, I didn't consent to it. Taylor consented to it.
Well, I did say give me your hand, and you did.
That's fair.
I don't think you... I think you knew what was coming.
I knew exactly what was coming.
Archie is just running in circles right now. What a guy. Okay, Archie, come here. Good boy.
Oh, what a good boy.
Is that better? Can we relax now? Slice of coffee. You people are specimens. Is you people us or the people in chat? That's my question.
Oh, I think... I would like to think that...
Oh my God, it's
we're
almost
specimens.
9. Are we going out?
I'm not going out.
You're lame. I said it as if I have any plans to go out. Although my friends did text earlier and they were like, are you doing anything tonight? And I was like, y'all can come here, and nobody answered me.
Oh, that's mean.
I don't know if they plan on going to Manioc, but I'm not driving to Manioc at this time of night.
No,
so,
God, no.
That's not going to happen. I don't know, maybe I'll just go to PJ's.
Don't just go to PJ's.
Maybe I'll finish watching The Last Kingdom.
That sounds like fun.
But I don't have any more. I'm like really low in alcohol. He does have the zoomies. He most definitely has the zoomies right now. German Windussi.
Was there...
Das Windussi? Ich brauche das Windussi.
Oh, no.
Italian Windham. Hey, it's the Windussi.
There you go, you got it. There you go, you got it.
World War Windussi.
WWW. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, we should. A door must open to gain access to a new area. I agree with that.
That's fair.
Stay live with us, and we can finish the Doors versus World. Oh God, I need to do something tonight, or I'm gonna go insane. Need social exposure.
Is this not a lot of social exposure?
That's true. Although I guess we did go to karaoke on Thursday, and I did go to a concert last night.
That's why because we went out last night, and I feel very out of outingness.
Archie, you good? Archie is just vibing. You made it to the end of the stream, but you made it.
There we go.
So if they spell it as Windussies in the UK, does that mean Australia spells it? I don't know how you typed that upside down, but I love it.
That's phenomenal.
How did this go from doors and wheels to Windussies? Listen. I don't know how anything on this program happens.
It is the Lore Lounge.
What about the Discord? Yeah, the Lore Lounge. It's a much more vibey room.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe
We
room.
hang.
We should get other lighting
Discord
for the Lore Lounge.
Are you saying Discord as in join the Discord, or are you saying Discord as in is there a Discord? Because there is a Discord. As an introvert, this conversation confuses me. It's discord.gg/the Lore Lodge.
Oh no.
Discord is currently undergoing some renovations.
I wouldn't know. I still have yet to get a Discord.
It's useful.
That's what I've heard.
Hey, Bubby. I love you. You're a good boy. What a guy.
What a dog.
That is just, you gotta understand, that is... Everything becomes the Wendosi on this show. You happy? You done? Alright, guys. Well, it has been real. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys had a good time as we did as well. And we will certainly see you on the flip side. I feel bad at all these people who are like just joining now, and I'm like, ugh.
Are there a bunch of people joining now?
Yeah, somebody just goes, I made it.
Oh no!
Garbo Films. Like, oh, I'm sorry, man. But no, we definitely have to hop off. I have not eaten since...
The Entenmann snack cake that you crushed while I read a story?
That was about it. That's all I've had since like noon.
That's terrible.
I spent like $20 at Steel City because everything there is wildly overpriced.
It is horribly overpriced.
It's
I was
ridiculous.
there this morning.
I don't know how they... Ugh. Wait, you were there this morning?
Were you there this morning?
I got there at around like 11.
Oh no, I was there around 10. I must have just missed you.
Yeah, probably.
Dang.
Oh, but thank you all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow as well at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have History Daddy on. We're going to talk about Alexander the Great and probably some British folklore as well. So that will be the plan for tomorrow. It'll be a good time. Other Aiden will be back. And that is all. I believe also you should all tune in to Mini Minuteman has a premiere at 5 p.m. Eastern for one of his new videos. You should go check that out. And I know Christian brought me Wawa. It's in my fridge. But yeah, so definitely tune into that. Stakuyi has a new upload. Check out his stuff. He's doing some great stuff. If you're into history, he's awesome. Go check his stuff out. I think he came out with something either today or yesterday. Yeah, we've got History Daddy tomorrow. We got Piper CJ the following weekend, and then we've got my friend Matilda is going to come on and rant about the O.J. Simpson trial the weekend after that. So, that is it. But all of you guys have a good time. I'm Aiden Mattis.
I'm Kat.
And we will see you probably in a week, I guess. If I can. Where the hell is the... All right, bye, guys.